and welcome to the French Revolution Human Timeline dramatic presentation. Let's go over here to begin the tale, and I will walk you through the French Revolution and the age of Napoleon. So begin. Bad harvest, 1785, 86, 87. This leads to pressure for Louis XVI to call an Estates General. He tries to avoid it in early 1787 by simply calling an assembly of notables, hoping that will be enough. It is not, and the pressure continues to grow. In January of 1789, you have the publication of the radical pamphlet, What is the Third Estate? Louis, beginning to panic, sends people across the country to learn about people's grievances. The cahiers de doléances are collected. Still, it is not enough. And in May of 1789, the Estates General meets for the first time in 175 years. But Louis becomes nervous as the talk becomes more and more radical, and he boards up the meeting hall. The Estates General has been abolished. So the members of the Third Estate, in June, walk across the street to a tennis court or a handball court, as it actually was, taking with them members of the First and Second Estate. There they declare that they are the new National Assembly of France. Louis responds by accepting this at first, but then attempts to crack down and sends soldiers into Paris to try to put a lid on the rebellion. The Parisian citizens on July 4th, 1789, stormed the Bastille, and across the countryside, fears that in fact Louis XVI's men are going to break down the revolution across the country results in the Great Fear, where peasants are attacking nobles and their land. The next month, in August of 1789, the National Assembly passes the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen. In 1790, the power of the Catholic Church is severely curtailed with the civil constitution of the clergy. In 1789, Louis XVI starts to realize his situation is more and more precarious. He attempts to escape, but is caught at the border in a town called Varennes and brought back to Paris in chains. The surrounding monarchies, related by blood, of course, to the French royal family, declares at the Declaration of Pillnitz that if any injury at all should happen to King Louis XVI or his family, it means war with Prussia and Austria. The French revolutionary government does not wait and declares war themselves on Prussia and Austria. Things heat up into 1792, the move toward a more radical France increases, and in January of 1793, Louis XVI is executed, and as the National Convention meets to write a new constitution, the Committee for Public Safety is begun to rule France. Maximilien Robespierre, by early 1794, takes control, institutes the worst of the Reign of Terror until he himself is executed in July of 1794. For the next 6 or so months, the convention holds on until finally a directory is put in place. Remember, this is a far less radical form of government trying to pull France back from the brink. Works for 4 years, but you have a series of coups and attempted coups and instability until finally a young general named Napoleon Bonaparte is asked in 1799, "Go ahead, Monsieur Napoleon, take over the government, we need stability." Napoleon takes over as first consul and later has himself elected first consul for life. In 1801, he makes peace with the Catholic Church. Because he liked the Catholic Church? No, because he thought peace with the Catholic Church under his terms would serve him well. And Napoleon's attacks upon neighboring countries continue. In 1804, he's seen enough success to say, wait a minute, I'm not just first consul for life. I am le grand empereur Napoleon Bonaparte I. Realizing that he can't seem to defeat England, there's no way to do this with the water, he realizes he can take on this nation of shopkeepers by declaring the continental system. This is the Berlin Decree that means any country in continental Europe that trades with England will immediately face Napoleon's wrath and possible invention. Prussia, Austria, Spain, they're all occupied by Napoleon. Russia is not, but is afraid of Napoleon. But as the impact continues to hurt the economies, Alexander I of Russia decides, I don't think Napoleon can enforce this. He announces that he will withdraw from the continental system and begin trading with whoever he feels like doing so. Napoleon threatens, and by June of 1812, he has invaded Russia. He takes over most of Russia, in fact. But the Russian winter gets him. By October, November, December. Finally, by December of 1812, Napoleon's Grand Army is defeated and they withdraw from Russia. Napoleon holds on for about another year and a half, until finally he is overthrown in Paris, he is exiled to Elba, and Louis XVIII becomes the new king, restoring the Bourbon monarchy. Napoleon escapes from Elba, starts up a new army, but is defeated once again by the Quadruple Alliance at the Battle of Waterloo in June of 1815. And a month later, in 1815, the Treaty of Vienna is signed, where the Quadruple Alliance agrees to peace terms with France that is not punitive, that allows France to hold on to most of its possessions. And France, by 1818, becomes part of the Quintuple Alliance. There. Wasn't that fun? Start studying.